everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from frigid cold Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And Dan, before we get going with the show, we have something that we want to promote.
We need to talk about it. We need to promote it.
Yeah.
Big things are happening, kids. Look, here's the thing. Frank and I realized that we are not going to be going to any New Year's Eve parties this year because anyone who's going to those is going to definitely get COVID.
Well,
100% certainty.
Already sick before they even get there.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't want it. I don't want it.
I don't want it too. Don't get it. Don't get COVID. You can hold out until you can get the vaccine. Anyway, what we are going to be doing is a live stream. It's a TGIA live stream, but it's not just going to be us. Some of your favorite other podcasters, possibly some surprises. We don't even know what we're bringing you yet, but we're putting it together, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's coming together. But what's important to know at this point is to block out some time, New Year's Eve. We're going to be ringing in the new year for at least 3 time zones is what we're thinking right now. So it'll probably start around 9 p.m. in the evening Mountain Time. Which means 1 hour before New Year's on the East Coast. So
that's right.
It should be a lot of fun. And then
East Coasters, we'll get to ring in the New Year with you guys. Then Central Time, then Mountain Time. It's going to be fun. It's going to be just sort of a big party. Hopefully, we're bringing in as many people as we can to just make it as entertaining as possible, and just pop a bottle of bubbly and sit down and ring it in with us.
I think it sounds like a great idea. And then coming up on the show, Dan.
Yeah.
The Mormons are up to some stuff. At least the Mormon intelligentsia.
Sorry. There is such a thing as a Mormon intelligentsia. I don't know that that's who we're going to be talking about. We're definitely going to be talking about a bunch of Mormons who think of themselves as real smart, and we'll just see where they land. It's kind of kooky town. A lot of stuff rumbling right now in Mormon land.
Indeed.
But before we get to that,
yes, Dan.
Yes.
How strongly do you support freedom of religion?
I tend to like it. It seems like a useful thing.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a town up in Minnesota by the name of Murdoch. Oh, their city council has granted a permit for the use of an abandoned Lutheran church in their neighborhood to be used by a new religious group.
Okay.
This group is a neo-Volkish group. I don't know if you're familiar with this. It's the Asatru Folk Assembly. They bill themselves as kind of a pre-Christian group. They're trying to return to pre-Christian spirituality from a sort of a European perspective.
Oh, okay.
They're organized around ethnocentricity.
Oh God.
And some kind of less than modern ideas about gender, I guess.
Shocking.
You would say.
Shocking.
And the fact that this group was coming to this very small community, I might add, caused a lot of consternation amongst the people there. And
as well it should. One would hope that it would.
The city council was really conflicted, right?
Sure.
About what to do when a white supremacist group decides to move into your town.
You just pack up the town and leave.
And you get the hell out. It's yours, guys. You can. It was good while it lasted.
Yep.
We're out of here. So the city council released this statement. It says, "We, as the leaders of the city of Murdoch, want it to be known that the city of Murdoch condemns racism in all of its forms, conscious, unconscious, any place, anytime, now and in the future. We are committed to, and anywhere in the universe. We are committed to building a community that promotes equal justice and opportunity to every single person, regardless of their race." That's
good. At least the town took the right stance.
Yeah, they released this as they, of course, granted permission for the group to use the church as a religious space.
Right.
Because they also recognized that you can't limit religious practice, and but that's kind of the stance, right, legally in this country, and
right.
Also, but it really kind of just begs the question for me of, like, where is the line, right? Like,
you're saying there's some sort of line?
There might be a line that this crosses, right?
Yeah.
And
it's getting real close to a line, that's for sure.
That there's something wrong with this group being able to be fully recognized as a religious organization. But I know that that's dangerous territory to wade into. But it's not territory that other countries have a problem. A lot of other countries have a problem wading into and trying to find solutions to this. Like, the world must think we're absolutely fucking nuts in this country sometimes with how much leeway we give to the practice of religion.
Yeah. I think we're fucking nuts.
I think we are
with
too.
How much leeway we get. Like,
I don't think you should be able to base a religion on, but this is the funny part. I'm about to say something that immediately doesn't make any sense. But you shouldn't be able to form a religion based on your own superiority, except for the fact that that's what all religion does.
That's what religions do.
It's always based on their own superiority.
Yeah.
Whatever that superiority is, right?
And they're never actually superior. It's just It's just a matter of, like, the problem is that the religion doesn't have to be based on the superiority. It's just that they become immediately convinced of their superiority the second they have a religion.
Yeah, and I guess that might be kind of the difference here, because this seems to be a little bit based in this idea that there needs to be a purity of race, right? Or that such a concept even actually is real or related to reality, right?
Well, if we're demanding related to reality for something to be a religion, we're in trouble.
So on the Asatru Folk Assembly's website, they might be pre-Christian, but they're on the web, right? They say that their purpose is to return to a pre-Christian spirituality or ancestral religion through the preservation of ethnic European folk. Let us be clear. By ethnic European folk, we mean white people.
Right. And
That's
the
what it
whiter
says.
the better.
Yeah.
Meaning, you're of Nordic/Viking, there's a big thing happening right now in the U.S. and actually outside of the U.S. where it's like this lionization of Nordic Viking religion and culture and blah blah blah, and all it is an excuse to be racist. So that's cute that they've gone the religious way. I'm sure they have runes and flagons of grog, and they all sit around talking about how much better they are than the other races, like idiots.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what they're basing it in, it's absolute idiocy.
It's nonsense.
Yeah.
It's just stupidity.
And they also say, because I don't know, maybe I said it in a way that wasn't fully clear. That the "let us be clear" by ethnic, that's actually on their website. We mean white people. That wasn't me speaking. I'm not sure.
Oh, that was them.
That was
good.
them speaking. Let us be clear. By ethnic European folk, we mean white people, reads the Declaration of Purpose. It says in this article.
Great.
Healthy families are the cornerstone of folk society, and its strength and prosperity is derived from them. We in Asatru support strong, healthy, white family relationships. We want our children to grow up to be mothers and fathers of white children of their own.
Oh my God.
Fuck
Have
them.
any of them tried a 23andMe? Because guess what? A bunch of you are going to be real shocked. Oh, Lord. All right. Well, speaking of the ambiguous good or not good nature of religious freedom, I'm going to take us to Washington, D.C., where the U.S. Supreme Court has just had a ruling that I'm totally confused by. Or rather, the impact of it is confusing to me, because the ruling itself, I think, is great. I think it's right. And it was a unanimous ruling, 8-0, because Amy Coney Barrett wasn't present yet for the argument stages of this, so she recused herself from the decision. But here's the deal, because this is a horrific case, and basically what happened was that the plaintiffs in this case were seeking damages against the United States government because they were Muslims, and they were basically refusing to cooperate with the FBI, who wanted them to rat out other Muslims and basically inform on various members of the Muslim community.
Right.
And when they refused to do that, the FBI decided to play hardball by putting them on the no-fly list. Oh,
geez.
So they couldn't get on airplanes. They couldn't, one of them couldn't go home to Pakistan to see his ailing mother. He had to quit his job, which was as a long-haul trucker, because he couldn't do a one-way trip and then fly back. So, it was like, that is the shittiest thing to do. And yes, I think, and so what the Supreme Court ruled was that these plaintiffs could seek monetary damages from the federal government for this.
Right.
Now, that's a good thing, I think. This is they deserve, the government shouldn't be able to do this to people, and there should be consequences if they do, and restitution for the victims.
Right. Okay.
But everybody is now wondering, what does this mean for other religious ding-dongs who feel like they've been attacked by the U.S. government or by,
wronged in some way, yeah.
Wronged in some way. Like, for instance, the Masterpiece Cake Shop trial, which never was decided on the merits of whether or not a person should be able to discriminate in selling a cake to gay people, but was decided the ruling was overturned based on the fact that an official in Colorado said something that was determined that was true about religion being used as sort of a bludgeon against people for a long time.
Yeah.
And then the courts, the U.S. Supreme Court found that just distasteful enough that they overturned the fucking conviction.
Yeah.
So it's like, so now the question is, can that guy go and try and seek some sort of monetary restitution from Colorado's Civil Rights Commission? So we don't know if a Pandora's box has been opened yet or not, but it seems like in doing the right thing, there's enough like questionable language in the decision to open the door for some some ding dong stuff to happen.
Jesus Christ.
We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I didn't really follow this too closely, but the one thing that I saw was from the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and it was something. They're miffed because, of course, this was being based on the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, I guess.
Right, RFRA.
Yeah. And their whole thing is, well, this was a missed opportunity to actually address the fact that RFRA is unconstitutional.
Right.
So
yeah,
there's oh God, it just this need to expand religious freedom beyond what could possibly ever be healthy or reasonable is useful is absolutely crazy. I actually am changing the order of stories, of my stories, because I want to segue to another thing that came up this week, having to do with people's radical freedom of religion.
Okay.
It has to do with a decision by by Labor Secretary Eugene Scalia. And if that name sounds familiar, yes, he is related. He's Scalia's son. But so, this is going to be a nice progressive decision that he made. They have finalized sweeping new regulation that allows federal contractors to discriminate against racial and religious minorities, women, and members of the LGBTQ community in the name of protecting religious liberty.
Thank God.
These are workplace protections that affect. The article says it's about 4 million employees of federal contractors who would benefit potentially from these protections. So these kind of the original anti-discrimination rules for federal contractors came into effect through an executive order by Lyndon Johnson back in 1965. And his order barred discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, or national origin. Presidents then later through the decades have added sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity to the list. But this would sort of this adds a way out, right? So basically, what they're saying is that it will first his order broadens the definition of a religious contractor, right, to encompass for-profit corporations.
What?
Okay, expanding the number of employers with a right to discriminate, which obviously greatly expands the number of employees who can now discriminate. It also allows contractors to discriminate on the basis of an employer's interpretation of religious tenets, right? So
so you don't have to line up with your religion as long as you think that your religion says something.
Exactly. And then the rule also makes it much more difficult for the Department of Labor to prove that a contractor discriminated unlawfully. So basically, this is all based that he used an exemption that George W. Bush added when he was president that allowed a small group of religious contractors to favor employees of a particular religion. This was designed to let faith groups hire co-religionists, right? So it would let a Jewish charity hire a Jewish director, right? Even though turning away a non-Jewish applicants, obviously in any normal circumstance, in any other circumstance, I guess, would be illegal discrimination. And so now Scalia has issued he's basically created a new test that basically only asks if a contractor views and conveys itself as religious, with heavy deference for an employer's own sense of its religious purpose. It covers for-profit operations so long as they swear they are motivated by religion.
Jesus.
Right?
Okay. So, like, no more rules. We don't have rules anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And unfortunately, it's not like we can count on Joe Biden to fix any of this.
Well, I mean, the article is written in such a way to suggest that the Biden administration will fix this. I don't know if they will.
So. I don't think they will. Nobody wants to be the politician that can be painted as going against religious freedom, and that's how they're going to paint this. So unless Biden does a masterful job of re-messaging this whole thing, yeah, this is how it's going to be for a while.
Don't say that, Dan.
Yeah, it's a fun world we live in here in these United States, and I'm not going to make us any happier right now.
Oh?
Because I'm going to talk about a lawsuit. I mean, maybe we can feel a little bit happier because after years of wrangling and trying to get out of anything, the city of Bowling Green, Kentucky, has finally settled a lawsuit with a man named Jeffrey Queen. Queen was hired as a firefighter for the town, and experienced some stuff that I would say might make the workplace a little hostile. When he was hired, nobody knew that he was an atheist.
Okay.
And, it's none of their business anyway.
Right.
But here's the things. Here's just a limited number of things that Mr. Queen encountered while on the force there. Assistant Chief of Training Norman Simpson referred to non-Christians as pagans.
Okay.
Chief Jason Colson told Queen he needed to join a church. Another chief told him to get right with Jesus.
Oh.
A captain said that atheists, quote, deserve to burn.
Jesus.
A chief said, quote, I'll be damned if I work with atheists. And he was, quote, sure as hell glad none of those fuckers work here. He was forced to participate in Bible study. So then he admitted to being an atheist, at which point his captain and another firefighter said that they would burn his house down.
What?
In spite of being, I mean, a lot of this they're claiming, that's just how we play. It's just a playful, ribbing kind of environment. He was regularly, though he is straight and married to a woman, was regularly called a faggot and queer, which apparently was not a good thing to them because they also regularly would say that they didn't want to touch gay people or save gay people because they probably had AIDS. They were told that if a gay person worked there with them, they'd make sure he would die in a fire.
What the fuck?
They referred to African Americans as hood rats, thugs, and a word that I'm just not going to say. They referred to Muslims in terrible ways. It was just like all of the worst things. And of course, if you're working there, you kind of got to keep quiet. But he went to HR, but HR didn't. He doesn't think they investigated them at all.
Oh my God.
And so when he finally blew the whistle, it launched this nightmare of a court case, which in the fire department and the city kept trying to get dismissed based on it being, it's just playful fun. Boys will be boys. It's that kind of, it's locker room talk. Finally, though, it made it to the U.S. Court of Appeals, and basically they finally ruled that neither the city nor the people named in this suit should be granted immunity regarding alleged violations of the Civil Rights Act, the Kentucky Civil Rights Act, which go Kentucky for even having one.
Have one?
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
Wow.
So there you go. We don't know how much they settled for, but it seems that Mr. Queen will be getting some sort of payday anyway.
Yeah, he better. That's fucking outrageous.
Yeah. Kind of the stuff of nightmares.
Oh my God.
And I have to believe that that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
That this kind of stuff is just par for the course in a lot of fire departments, and probably we know that kind of stuff happens in our military. Religious discrimination, certainly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
good gravy.
Fun, huh?
Dan, it's supposed to be a fun show.
Yeah. I fucked it up,
Dan. I don't know if
I've ruined it.
You need to when we're done today, Dan, I want you to review our mission statement.
Oh, right? Do we have one of those?
Yes.
Liar. We don't.
This is why you need to review it, Dan. Clearly. All right. Well, Dan, God, what is it with mega churches these days? And I'm going to add to that mega churches in Florida these days.
Oh my God. Well, it's Florida.
What is it about Pentecostal mega churches in Florida these days? Good gravy. Of course, it wouldn't be TGIA these days without a really good COVID-19 story.
Oh, sure. It's all the rage. The COVID.
So this is the story of Guillermo Maldonado, a pastor at the Miami-based King Jesus International Ministry, and their big mega church they got. Oh, gravy. So he has decided, or he's already done it. He decided to get up in front of his congregation and to tell them to not take the vaccine.
Of course.
Believe in the blood of Jesus. Believe in divine immunity. Divine immunity.
Yeah.
He claimed that God has warned him about a satanic global agenda that is trying to establish one worldwide religion and to bring down Christianity and to put it under government control.
What is he trying to establish?
I have no.
Lots and lots of different religions? He would love a one worldwide religion. That's like his dream.
He says they want to stop Donald Trump, of course, because he's against that agenda. So, Guillermo Maldonado, he found his way into some conspiracy theories.
Of course.
Probably some QAnon. Anyway, he is, of course, basing a lot of this on some Bible verses that talk about the mark of the beast, which Pentecostals have long speculated, apparently, that the mark of the beast would appear as a vaccine. Right. So he's just absolutely playing into this, and then coupling it with all of this, stupid, right-wing nonsense and the Trump people and their denial of COVID and everything. And so it's not surprising, of course, that and I doubt it's going to be he's the only or the last pastor to get up and say some of these kind of things. But what I want to really take this is, Dan, are we ever going to be able to get rid of COVID-19? If people are not going to get vaccinated,
right?
Then we can't
do
Americans the thing that they think they're doing just by getting sick, herd immunity, which doesn't work that way. It works through vaccination. That's how herd immunity works.
Look, here's where I'm at. A lot of people are taking a stand, at least right now, they're taking a deep stand that they're never going to get this COVID vaccine. I think, here's the thing, the mark of the beast thing is insane to me because it's very clear in the Bible that the mark of the beast is either on your right hand or your forehead. So as long as it's going into your arm, you should feel great about it. You know what I mean? Put it in my left arm, make sure that it's over there.
Be extra careful. Yeah.
I don't want it in the right. No hands.
Nowhere near the hand.
Don't you vaccinate my forehead now.
The arm, because it would be in the shoulder, right? They're not going to do it in like the forearm. It's going to be in the shoulder. No. It is a little close to the forehead.
It's like
I'm just going to say. Like, I think they should take their injection on their left calf, right? I don't know if that can be done. I don't see why it couldn't be. But these people need to be, like, we need to, like, get down on their level just for a minute.
We'll figure something. We got to figure something out.
That this is something that they need, because I cannot live in a society where large numbers of people are not getting vaccinated against this plague that we've been living through.
I mean, to some extent, it's like you and I are going to get vaccinated, so
yeah,
hopefully we won't be able to get it.
Hopefully,
it's 90-something% effective.
Yeah,
the chances are you're not going to get us afterwards.
You're true.
Here's what we need to do. We need to start a conspiracy theory that says that the liberals are trying to hoard the vaccine so that the virus kills all of the conservatives.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The liberals have tricked all the conservatives into this whole mark of the beast thing so that they won't take it, so that they'll die.
The liberals are at least happy that they're not going to get vaccinated.
Yeah,
but we're gleefully, it has to be more malicious than that, doesn't it?
It has to be malicious.
Yeah.
It has to be. Yeah. We're trying. The liberals released this virus on the world, so knowing full well that they could control the conservatives not to get the vaccine,
so they would all die off.
This
is pretty good, and they should all be pissed at their pastors for going along with it, because they're being paid off by the Illuminati.
Right, exactly. Yeah, George Soros is paying your pastor. I think we got it. I think we've done it.
Okay, we got to get the breadcrumbs out there, Dan.
Yeah, exactly. who has an 8chan account? Start feeding that in.
Just breadcrumbs. Don't explain it all.
No,
just give them some breadcrumbs.
You just got to start leaving the breadcrumbs, and then have a website. Oh, this is a lot of work, but I'm confident our listeners can figure it out. It doesn't help with the division in our country, but at least it gets everybody vaccinated.
Yeah, we can work on the division later.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to close this off, I'm going to tell you about a guide that has been a resource guide that's been released to help parents. Now, this is a rough, weird time in the lives of parents of school children. So I can see why new resource guides would be very useful, because we've got a lot of kids that are either on some sort of weird hybrid school schedule, or they're staying home and doing it online. It's a hard time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this particular resource guide is coming from the Focus on the Family organization.
Oh boy.
So it's not going to help anybody, because what this guide is all about is making sure that you keep your kids safe from the queer kids, and how to deal with the fact that all around the country, kids are being taught actual sex education in some parts of the country. Not here, thank God. But in some parts of the country, kids are being taught real sex education, and also, like, sometimes kids are taught that gay people aren't bad and that trans people are fine, and God forbid, there are some kids that were born that were assigned male at birth who are going to be allowed to compete as girls in sports.
Oh, my
What will
God.
we do?
It's the end of the world, Dan.
It's the end of the fucking world. Thank you. Thank you, Frank. I'm very glad that you can see that. So, yeah, there's a whole 124-page document that will help guide parents through this nightmare that their kids are going to have to live through. So, thanks, Focus on the Family. You're the guiding light that we need now. Apparently the word transgender appears 89 times in this document.
Oh, my God.
They're
oh, my
very,
God.
very afraid of the trans kids. So there you go. If you
God.
if you have anything you want to say about this, kids at home, fun stuff.
Yeah, this was not a fun episode.
Oh, we're gonna have some fun later, though. We'll have a lot of fun. Don't worry. Everybody just shake it off. But if you need to write into us about any of this stuff, feel free to do so. You can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Stick around. There is more show coming up. Hey, Dan.
Yes?
Rick Joyner, famous pastor.
Just the best.
And he's a good guy. He's such a
such a
good
good egg.
And he's one of these. It's not surprising. He is one of these pastors who wound up getting COVID-19.
He done got it.
And he has. Boy, he had a different experience than I think a lot of people.
Can I just say this virus kills all the wrong people? Oh, God. Because he made it through. He's doing just fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't apparently pleasant for him, so there's that. But yeah, he's got some things to say. He's talking to Sid Roth, and here's some stuff that he experienced during his sickness.
It was right after the COVID when this incredible weakness came upon me. I felt like my internal battery had about 1% energy. I mean, I couldn't walk 3 or 4 feet without having to sit down. And I'd never felt that kind of weakness. And when I sat down, all of a sudden it's like I'm in heaven. I was in heaven. And there were 2 thrones in front of me. The Lord was on one of them, and there was a chair for me. And I just sat down, and we met face to face. And so I just thought, this is incredible. What happened the second day, it went on for 15 days. 15 days. Almost everything he talked about was his coming kingdom. And everything was so profound. It's like, I've never seen that before. I've never seen that like that before. And it was so exciting. The third day, that started November the 1st. November the 3rd was our election day that I had been really intense, wanting to know how this is going to... I turned on the news the evening of November 3rd to see who was winning or whatever, and it was so boring I couldn't stand it. I turned it right off. I said, the kingdom, once you grasp the kingdom like this, it is really hard to get interested in even the biggest crises in the world or anything else. And I could tell in these experiences with the Lord in heaven, this was not a big issue.
It's not a big issue, Frank.
What, the election?
The election, no big deal.
No big...
Never mind the hours he spent agonizing over how Trump was definitely going to win and prophesying for months that there was going to be a second term and blah, blah. It doesn't matter. He talked to God
for 15 days. What a blessing COVID is. What a blessing. Rick Joyner got to talk to God for 15 days. If that's not putting a silver lining on, trying to put a silver lining on having to eat a fuck ton of crow otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. He sidestepped. He found a narrative where he could sidestep all of the stuff. The second anyone calls him out on, hey, I thought you said Trump was going to get, I thought you said the Lord told you that Trump was going to get us another term. You can just be like, none of that matters now.
It doesn't matter.
I had COVID hallucinations, and now I know that it's not important anymore.
He just like has a little flower in his hair and like both hands and sort of that little like, you know, like meditation little thumb and forefinger together thing, you know, and he's just like, no, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Hey, at very least, he said that COVID sucks.
Well, yeah.
Like he painted a picture of COVID that at very least some of his parishioners might go, oh, it's actually worse than the flu? Oh. Your battery was at 1% for 15 days? That doesn't sound very good.
God. Just needed one more point down.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. So stupid. Well, we had some people communicate with us. Mark wrote into us and said, hi guys, just a big thank you. I started listening to How to Heretic last year and picked this one up from there. Then we entered lockdown in March and I went back and listened from the start. You people are so insane.
Wow.
Every time we hear that, I think I can speak for both of us, Frank. We both just go, why?
Well, and I've gone back to listen to them, and I'm like, oh, boy.
Yeah, well,
I mean, they were good, but like, you know,
hey,
I'm
very glad
rough.
you enjoyed them.
I'm
rough. Glad that you enjoyed them.
It's
That's
painful
great.
to go back and listen to them for me.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. Maybe I will at some point.
You should.
Anyway, maybe I will. Mark goes on to say, it was heartbreaking listening to you talking about the 2016 election, knowing what was going to happen. Then, as you started talking about the new virus from China, all I could think was, you poor bastards, you have no idea. Then the run-up to this election started, and it was good knowing what was coming for you.
Aww.
Anyway, yeah, man, you're like God listening in on our silly chatter. Anyway, Mark says, I've caught up now, and I'm really grateful for you helping me through this. I'm really sorry that I can't donate, but you've had my 5 stars, my review, and recommends since soon after I started.
Fantastic.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. We have some people to thank.
We do.
I will start us off. Ronnie gave us a one-time donation. So Ronnie, thank you so much for that. I'm going to confer upon you the Aaronic priesthood, or the Arani priesthood, if you prefer. Ooh. It's all made up, so you can call it whatever you want to.
And then we have over on Patreon, Dan, we have 2 new deacons we need to thank this week. We have Ben the Heretic and Hypatia. And then we have 2 new teachers to thank. We have Pause and Tim. So thank you so much to the 4 of you. What these kind folk did is they went to thankgodimatheist.com and clicked on the support tab and followed it on over to Patreon. And you can also follow it over to PayPal.
And now they all have magic powers.
I know.
You guys.
Woo.
They all have the priesthood.
And
so
it's Mormon priesthood.
If you want magic powers, you're going to have to do
really
what they
cool.
did.
Yeah. And then as always, Dan, we have our top donor to thank, our Lord and Savior, Davis.
Oh, Davis, you're amazing.
Dan.
Hello. Yes. Hi.
We're going to talk today a little bit about radical Mormons. Have you ever met any radically Orthodox Mormons?
You say that, and I think that you mean something, but I know where you're going, and you don't.
I mean, well, here's the deal. Is radical has a sort of a generally understood meaning, right, out in the world.
Right. Which is extreme or far, like sort of on the edge, on the far reaches.
It's usually folks who like are digging to the roots of like a movement, right? They're going deep. They're going to like crazy fringy stuff, right?
Right. Fringe is a great way of putting it.
Fringe is probably the best way.
And then there's that word orthodox.
Yes. Which also kind of has that like extreme like practice, right? Like fringiness.
Right. It's like a
trying to follow everything to the letter type thing.
Yeah,
right?
it's a wild, generally considered a wildly conservative word.
Yes.
Orthodoxy is holding on to the purest form of a thing with no interpretation allowed or something along those lines.
Exactly. And then, but if you throw the word Mormon into the mix, you get something entirely different because they're not going to do it the normal way.
Oh my God.
And so this week, Dan, it's so stupid, Dan. This group of Mormons who are concerned about the fact that like the kind of the discussion within Mormonism is either about the progressive movement inside of Mormonism and then the backlash against it, which they're concerned is like just too extreme. And so their radical orthodox solution to this, to kind of solve the problem of these like two wings, is to go the middle route, to go the moderate,
the radical orthodox middle. What the fuck are you talking about, you absolute idiots? So yes, this is a group of Mormons who, some of whom are in academia, some who are bloggers. So it's a small group, but what they've decided is that they know the real way. They're going to carve out a path so that you don't have to be one of those dirty, filthy, progressive Mormons who believes in women's rights and that gay people are probably humans too and blah blah blah. And so they're trying to, but they don't want it to be, because let me tell you something, the extreme right, the extreme conservative Mormon position has gotten ugly.
Yeah.
They are mean and evil.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like Mormonism to me.
No,
like it's so foreign to like the way that I've ever encountered or I've ever experienced sort of Mormons, right?
Yeah, Mormons are pathologically nice.
Yeah.
And and like the only kind of aggression they do is passive aggression. That's their whole thing. That's what Mormonism is. And yet there's this whole, I mean, a lot of them call themselves Desnat, which is Deseret nationalism.
Which also takes a little unpacking, because like most people aren't going to know what the word Deseret has, what that is. It's what it was, the Deseret territory before it was Utah, right?
This area that we live in here.
Exactly.
Yes. Deseret is the word means honeybee in a language that they done made up.
Yeah, a fake language. Because the best kind of, language, I guess. One that you can't even use has one word really that I know of that they know,
which is Deseret.
So anyway, these guys are like Desnats, right? There's the hashtag Desnat.
I guess they say that it's the Deseret nation. They're not. They are nationalists probably, but
anyway, they're angry young men, and they're angry because I guess they're dumb. I can't really quite figure it out.
They're angry because the internet happened and suddenly people were like pointing out things that are stupid about Mormonism, and that hurt their feels a lot. So it's interestingly, like, one of the main organizations that has been working to sort of do Mormon apologetics for years now is a group called Fair Mormon. And they've been around for a long, long time. And they were the first, they were sort of pioneers in the, like, trying to square all the circles of like, you know, whenever DNA evidence would say that, you know, the peoples of the Americas almost definitely came across a land bridge from Asia into the Americas.
Not descendants of ancient Israelites who migrated here in boats that they built.
Not particular,
and sailed across the Atlantic.
The Book of Mormon, the founding document of Mormonism, says that all of the Native Americans were previously just seafaring Jews. And so, no, that's not what happened. But this organization was there to sort of find all of the loopholes, like every kind of way that they can work their way around this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they just released a ton of YouTube videos. I don't know how many, but a whole bunch of YouTube videos that are just mean-spirited, snarky, snide, not funny. They're trying to be funny, not at all funny videos that are like vilifying people who are on the other side of the argument.
Right.
Just mean, just shredding people, like going after, like it's the ad hominem thing.
Yeah.
They just do it all. Every possible way that they could be just jerks about this argument, they found the way to do it.
So is this what happens when apologetics fails at their job? Right? Like they clearly have not succeeded, right, in trying to explain all these things, all the problems of Mormonism away. And so this is what's left to them, is just to be mean? Or are they just or is there like some really bad lesson on the internet or just in our culture at the moment that they decided that the best way to achieve their goals was to be mean on the internet?
Like, I mean, kind of,
that
right?
Seems to be it, right? Which is horrifying.
Just sort of perfect for the zeitgeist of America right now, that even Mormons have gotten fucking mean. Even the right wing of like the nicest group of people that you can find,
right,
have gotten cruel and ugly and stupid, and don't care about making good arguments anymore, even though that's the entire point of their organization. Yeah. They've given up on it. They're just going to be dicks.
Yeah. I know.
It's kind of perfect America. It's kind of quintessentially American. And, you know, Mormonism
America 2020.
It's an American religion, so maybe that's where it should be.
They're just keeping up with the times, Dan.
They're just, my God. These radical Orthodox people, they're trying to find the middle ground between that and the other part of Mormonism, which really has been just like trying to find a way to reconcile their old, outdated, very clearly hateful policies and ideas with new, very clearly truth ideas, like the fact that, you know, gay people aren't choosing to be gay. They just exist. It's fine.
Right.
And they're good people, and trans people exist now. And like, there are Mormons out there trying to reconcile all of that stuff. So the progressives on one side, the dickhead conservatives on the other side, like the hapless progressives on one side that are just never going to be able to find that space where the revealed word of God finds its way to make sense with what they actually know to be true and the science that is real, that is provable.
Yeah.
And so, like, then there come these ding-dongs trying to come up with in the middle, and all they're really offering is Just read the documents that the church has produced and turn your brain off.
Yeah.
Stop thinking about it. Don't get mad on the right. Don't try to fix it on the left. Just toe the line.
Yeah.
That's all they want.
Well, and what struck me, Dan, is that because they're basically saying that there's like these three tenets almost of Mormonism, right? And
the tent poles? Is that what we're talking about?
That's what they called them. Yeah. The three tent poles of Mormonism, which are like the proclamation on the family, and I can't remember, Jesus, the
living
whole
Christ
Jesus thing,
and the restoration.
right? But their interpretation of those things is actually really the most conservative of them. So they're saying, we don't care what you think, progressives, and how you feel. We want you to come over and be part, like it's almost like this return to the fold type thing. Well, they don't want to, because that proclamation on the family is anti-LGBTQ, which most Mormon progressives feel very strongly. The ones I've encountered are very strongly toward gay rights. It's actually kind of the issue that really kind of opened their eyes about the church and their belief system, right? And so it's like
100%.
So you guys, these radical Orthodox Mormons, right?
Right.
They're just basically saying, no, we're the right version of Mormonism and come to us, right?
Right. Yeah, they're just doubling down on a whole bunch of nonsense and saying, just plug your eyes and close your ears.
And you can believe whatever you want, but you have to believe these things. Well, it's like, okay, that doesn't work, right?
Right.
And
yeah, they're talking about they want. I mean, one of them said the reason that they were radical is because they're trying to promote bold exploration beyond what is familiar.
No.
Well, no, you're not. Like, decidedly not.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I mean, if anything, they probably are. They're not radical, right? But they probably are a little orthodox. They probably did pick the word orthodox correctly.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is a little scary.
They just wanted to throw in that other word so that they could trick some progressives to take a look.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well, friends, if you would like to write into us, it's a weird damn time. I'll tell you what. Mormon Church is apparently breaking down.
Good.
So there you go.
I've been waiting for this.
I think that's the key here is that the religions aren't healthy. They're not doing well. And that I'm pretty happy about that. If you'd like to tell us your story about any of this or why you think we're right or wrong about things, please feel free to write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yep. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist. Click the like button.
And
do it.
And if you've heard us talking about the TGIA Members Only Lounge on Facebook, it's a really awesome community, but you do have to join it. In order to get over to it, to be able to request to join, please go to thankgodimatheist.com/members-only. And then also, you should find us on Twitter at TGIA Atheist.
Yeah, we're doing all the things these days.
Irons and fires.
Thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their fine music.
And thanks to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you.
Bye-bye.